Hi and welcome to Excel tutorial of pharmacy management system. So let me show you guys how this works. If I enter incorrect value, the system allows 3 attempts. That's 2. There we go, and that's what happened. Supposing we enter the correct details in here. There we go, that should enable all of these buttons. Okay, so we can click on any of these buttons. These buttons are all coded. There's nothing in here. That's just an example if you guys want to complete that. So if I click on doctor, so that's the doctor's page, and we can always enter the details of the doctor. Let's say the doctor reference number is QWY. There we go. And the NHS number, NHS, and let's just enter name there. So his name is Alan Ladd Johnstown. Address Good Road. Postcode, center reference number, telephone number, fax, email address, and let's see, patient number and patient ID number. There, all they need to do is to add this straight onto the workbook. There we go. We can navigate straight to any other part of the program, or add more details onto the workbook. Okay, just to prove to you that we've added those details onto the workbook, I'm just going to change the name here to, let's say the name is Alright, let's just add Can Ali there. There we go. And let's come straight into patients here. As the patient record, we can add some information for the patient. And I'm now going to sort of like complete it correctly in this patient. And there we can also add that straight onto the workbook. So let's go straight back to the login system. If we go straight to the login system, the system will officially log you off, which means you have to log on again. But let's have a look at our workbook. Okay, so we must log off first to gain access straight onto our workbook. Yeah, click on that. Oh, we need to log off here as well. Click on that, and let's see the information we've gathered. That is Alan Ladd, and those are the details I've added for Can Ali. And let's see on spreadsheet or sheet number 2, and sheet number 2, there we go, with all the junks that we added. So with that, guys, what I'm going to do now is to take you guys straight into Excel development environment, and we put one of these together. So let's do that now, guys. Hi and welcome to Pharmacy's management system to be developed using VBA in Excel spreadsheet application. So I'm going to start by going to File. Let me save my project, and right here, let's browse. Okay, I'm going to give it a name. The first one is going to be known as a login. There we go. Save that. And before I save it, make sure you change that to Excel macro enable workbook and click on save. There we go. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is come right here. You see the developer. If you don't have your developer enabled, go to File, select Options, and once this dialog box pops up, go to Customize ribbon and make sure your developer is checked. Okay, make sure the checkbox is checked. Click on OK. There. So you should be able to see this menu there. Click on that very menu, select Visual Basic, and right in here let's select Insert. I'm going to insert my form. That's my form there. You see this very form. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it FRM, or let's give it a name that we will remember. So I'm just going to call it a login. Right, that's just the name. And in here I'm just going to call it login. So as you can see, a login is right there. Now the next thing I want to do for this system is to increase the width. Let's take this up so that you guys can see it. Let's come right here, change the width to 1030, and the height, I'm going to change the height to 600. There, that's fine. Okay, that's alright then. So let's add more spreadsheet. So I'm going to go straight to my start button here and just click on spreadsheet. Now I have another one. This other one I'm going to call this package that I just, let's save it in here. I will call that doctor, and repeat exactly the same thing. Come in here, make sure you enable the macro, click OK, save. There we go. Now go to your menu here and insert a form, and that's the form. Repeat exactly the same thing for this form. This form is going to be known as doctor, and the caption will be known as doctor. Height will be 600, and the width, I'm going to make that 1030 as well. 1030. There we go. Okay guys, now that the doctor's workbook is ready, I'm going to add a workbook. So I need 3 more actually. So this other one, I'm going to save that as patient, and right in there let's enter patient. Make sure we save it as enabled macro as well. Enable macro workbook. There. Let's come to the design developer tool, and in there insert a form, give that a name, that's patient, and the caption, the height is 600 and the width is 1030. There. So I'm going to actually create 2 more of those, and I'll be back as soon as those are done. Okay, now I have all of the forms that I need. As for the doctor, the patient, payment, and pharmacy, and here I also have the workbook that I required. Okay, so we're going to start with that of the login system. So the first thing I'd like to do is let's enter a data in there. So in there, that's going to be my title. So let's enter pharmacy management system. Pharmacy, let's say login management system. Right, get rid of that. Okay, so all I just need to do now is to increase the font. For that, come in here and let's increase the font. There we go. We're gonna make that about 48, make that bold, and at the same time we should get it centered. The next thing I want to do is, you see this very frame, I'm just gonna grab one of those, drag it down much, and in there I'm gonna call that frame login system. There. And we now need label, and this very label is going to be known as username. Let's increase the font size to something a little bit readable. I'm going to make that maybe 24. Right, that's fine. Hold down the control, click and drag. So this is going to be known as password. Now let's enter text box. One text box here and another one here. Select both text box and change the font size to 24 bold as well. That is fine. Now let's add buttons. One here, two, let's make that 2, and 3. Those are the 3 buttons I intend to use for this. So let's increase the font size for those buttons as well. I'm going to make them 24 as well, and change the first one, this very one. Let's change that to CMB login, and the content on it will be login. The next one is going to be cancel, and just change that to CMB cancel. And finally, this is going to be known as exit. And change that to CMB exit. Right. Okay, so we're going to need more buttons, so let me copy this one and just paste it here, or maybe let's put them in a frame as well. Okay, so let's add some more buttons here. So those buttons will be for my spreadsheet anyway. So let's create this and let's copy one button here. Hold down the control, click and drag. Right. So let's bring it down a little bit. So we need about 5 of those. So we're going to change the names around anyway. So this one is going to be known as, those are the names, so that'll be doctor, and the button will be known as CMB doctor. Okay, the next button, let's call that CMB patient. Right, and the text content will be patient. Change the caption to patient, followed by payment. And change the caption of this one to payment. And next we have that's going to be pharmacy. CMB pharmacy. Caption CMB pharmacy. And finally we have cmbgp. So that would just be gp appointment. There. Okay, so we need to actually copy this. I'm going to copy that and make a copy here. Let's leave that there. Yeah. So if I run my system, this is how it's going to look like. But I do need to change the data we have in here and just reposition it properly. So let's come in here and drag this down much so that there's enough room for the other one. Close this, we don't need that. So I'm just going to speed up the whole design of the interface and get back to you guys. Okay, this is how it all looks now. If let's run it and see. That's how it's looking, not too bad. So here, let me just, because it looks a little bit plain, let's get a panel there, or sorry, a frame. I'm just gonna draw a frame from here down there, just to make it look a little bit pronounced. So I'm gonna get rid of the content in that frame and just run it and let's see. Yeah, it looks a bit much better. Now let's start to work with some programming. You see, all of these buttons, I would like them disabled. Only when you get the password right, then these buttons will be enabled. So the first thing we need to do is to double click on this very form, and right in here we want to change the event to form activate, or here, let's see, form initialize them. So in there, let's try that out. I'm going to say cmb doctor dot enable equals false. There. So let's give that a try and see what's going to happen. So I'm going to save that. Let's run our program and see. You see the doctor form, the doctor's button is disabled. Alright, so let's repeat the same thing for the others. The next one is going to be, let me just copy all of this. CMB, that will be patient. There. Okay. Now I guess you get the whole idea. I'm going to speed that up. Right. All of the buttons are taken care of. So the other one that I'd like to take care of is going to be the username. That's going to be txt username dot, let's say text, whatever is in there, clear it, then txt username dot set focus, and txt password, and it initialize, clear whatever we have in there. There. Okay, that is how it looks now. So let's come in here and go to the form and run it and see. If we run it, I expect everything to be disabled. Okay. Alright, let's take care of cancel and exit. Alright, with cancel, that's easy. We can just copy this, copy everything in here, and just call it right here. Call form initialize. There we go. That's taken care of. That's easy. Now let's come into exit. Double click on the exit. The first thing we like to do is declare a variable. I'm going to call that iExit as an integer. So iExit equals msgbox, And what do I want in there? I'd like the user to confirm if you want to exit. Right, confirm if you want to exit, and give that VB question mark plus VB yes or no, comma, I'm going to enter pharmacy management system and close that off. There we go. Now supposing the end user selects if I exit equals VB yes, then I want the system to unload me, and if. There we go, guys. Now let's give that a try. Come in here, run the program, try this out. You see that, guys? And let's try this out. Supposing we have something in there. Okay, you see that? So what I'm going to do now is, first thing is, let's exit out of here. Now we need to be able to call all of these forms. So let's double click on the doctors first, and in there that form is actually referred to as doctor. Let's see if it's going to work. Doctor dot, let's see, show. Okay, that's good, it works. Alright, now I'm going to comment out this. I just want to try the doctor one if it works for real. So let's run this program. One click, there we go, it works, so that's fine. So back in here, undo the comment, and one other thing is, you can always declare all of these forms as an object. So let's assume we say, if we come up here and enter Dean Doctor as new doctor. Okay, there we go. So we actually calling doctor.new dot show. Right, because the form itself is an object. So let's try that out as well if it works. Run the program. Doctor, that's fine as an object. Okay, I'm going to exit out and come right in here. No, go to here. So I'm just going to make it look more professional. I'm just going to change all to objects. Create all of the objects required. I need about 5 of those. Then the next one is going to be, let's say, GP underscore that. So the GP, that's for the GP. So instead of doctor here, I can just change this one to doc, and this one becomes doc. So that's fine. And that's the GP. So we have GP in here. Appointment. And the next one is going to be patient. So we can just call that part. And here is the patient. Then this one, I'm going to make that payment, and that will be pay. And this will be pharmacy, and just change this one to pharmacy. Right, they are all ready now. Let's change it Okay, that's fine. Anyway, that's fine. This one will just be GP, and this will be doc. Change this to doc as well. That's good. Test it out. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, exit. Yeah. All right. Okay, then back in here. The next one is that. So that's the name for that is just okay. Parts.show and followed by pay.show, and then we have fare.show. And what else do we have? We have GP, so that will just be gp.show. Right, all of them are now in place. I'll undo that. Okay, now that is all done, there's one thing I like to do. I'll come in here. You see all of these buttons. I would like to copy this very one. So let's right click, copy, and come right inside Doctor, paste it right inside Doctor. We're going to redesign the whole Doctor frame. Repeat the same thing for this. Repeat the same thing for patient, pay, and pharmacy. They all have that now. Now let's come inside here. Double click on that. You see all those lines of codes? This one, I'm gonna copy it all. But before that, okay, there are 5. Before that, I'm gonna need to copy all of these mine. Yep. Let's copy it and double click on this one, paste it right there. The next one, paste. The next one, the next form, paste. I think I could have used more of all of these, but it's alright though. There. Now back in here, I'm going to copy every single lines of code that I have in here. Let's copy all of these because the name, I haven't changed the name, so it should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Copy. Now double click on Doctor and paste that right underneath here. There, that's sorted. Appointment, GP appointment, patient, payment, pharmacy. Okay, now the difference is this one that is pharmacy. We need to change pharmacy here to log, ilog, or a log. So let's look for whatever is pharmacy here. So this one will become log, and this is going to become log.show right there. And the text content on this one, we need to change that to this one, to log there. So the same thing will have to be repeated for these ones. This is, or let's go back to the pharmacy again, and this log, the name will become log as well. Right, that should change automatically in there. Let's see. Let's go back in here, double click on log. Oh, that's log, so we'll move this then to log. Okay, we can get rid of this. Right, the next one, which is payment, we can change this to payment to log. Right, login, and the text content, and then to change that to login as well. Okay, and double click on that, and we need to change the payment one to a login. And this to log, and this become log dot show. There. Let's go to the next one, and that's the patient. We need to do that as well. We'll change that to log, and the text content change to log. There. Double click on log. That's the log. I'm just gonna move it here. I want all of them together, and that is supposed to be patient. Change the patient to a log. The log in, and this will be known as log. Come right in here, log dot show, and patient, wherever there's patient there, we're gonna have to delete everything there that represent patients. Now we need this GP. That's a GP there. Get rid of that. Change the content to log. Okay, now double click on GP, and wherever we have that, let's change that to a log in, and this becomes log. Now come right down here, that becomes log dot show, and GP here, if we have a GP, get rid of that GP there. Okay, you can group them all together if you want. Now doctor, change that to log as well. There we go. That will become, we need to get rid of the doctor one, the log, and that is log in here, log dot show. Right, okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to move this here, and that of the doctor, get rid of that. Okay, all that is taken care of. Now let's go into login and the password. So let's take care of the password. Double click on that. Right inside here, but before I can do anything, let me declare some global variable. Dim attempt. Okay, let's declare that as integer. I think I should declare another one. The other one, maybe I should call that check or checkers. Checkers. There we go. Now attempt and checkers. Let's come inside the login itself. Double click on the login again. Attempts is going to be assigned 0 value. The same thing, checkers equals 0 as well. Now let's use a do while loop. Do while attempts is less than and equals to 3. attempt in this case equals attempt plus 1. Okay, so which means it's going to go around 3 times if you don't get it right. So if txt username dot text equals, I'm just going to give that a name anyway, I'll just call it Paul, and txt password dot text equals 1 2 3 4, close that. Then what do I want the system to do? I want this to clear whatever content we have in there, clear, and you to clear whatever you have in there, clear. And now I want all of these to become enabled, everything in here to become enabled and focus set. Copy that. Where is it? Right here, and that becomes enabled. We already have this, so we get rid of that, and this becomes true. Okay, all of these becomes true. There we go, and we set focus on the username. Else, what do we want the system to do? Else, I want you to call, let's say call, I think it's called, let's look for the name. There we go, initialize, call initialize, this one, copy that. If you get it all wrong, it calls the initialize and end and if. Call initialize, okay, yeah, let it focus as well because it's still going around the loop. Now let's say loop here, so let's say checkers equals checkers plus 1. Now if checkers equals 3, then unload me and if. Okay, let's see if this code is going to work for us. Okay, before I even try it out, let's just indent this. That looks funny the way it is. Let's indent it and get this one indented as well. Okay, now let's save and come here, just run it and see. The first place, let me just enter whatever in there. 1 attempt, 2 attempt. So the system should only allow 3. That's it. That's working how I expect it to work. So let's go back in there and enter correct details. And that's going to be 1 2 3 4. If these login details are correct, I expect it to enable all of these buttons. There we go. So we can always go straight into that is payment, and we just need to have some details in there to make the payment look like how it's supposed to look. I'm going to close that because we need to start with the design of the interface for all these forms. So I'm going to start with this. That's the doctors. Okay, move these aside somewhere. There. So for this doctor's interface, I'm going to need as follows. I need some labels. Let's try that again. Then we're gonna need text box. Okay, we're going to need about 16 of these, so let's enhance the size of the font first. Let's come in here and just, so let's go for maybe 24. Right. Okay, and maybe I should even put them in here. Let's put them in a frame. So I'm going to copy these two, just bang it in there, move it up. So let's go for 8 each on both sides. Okay, I have 8 on this side. I'm now going to copy 8 across. Let's come in there and make room. Yeah, let's click, hold on through and drag there. So let's increase the size of that. There we go. Okay, let's try and finish up with this interface. So this one is going to be known as doctor's reference number. The next one is going to be doctor's NHS number. So I think I'm gonna have to speed this up and get back to you guys. Okay, I've finished designing the interface for each of the forms. Okay, that's how the doctors look like. Appointment. I think I'm gonna copy these across. Patients. Let's come in here. Just drag this down, paste that in there, and just change it around for patients. Let's come in here and change that to patient. There we go. That's fine. And the next one is payment. And change that to payment as well. Yeah. Move this down a little bit. Okay, that's right. Okay, we have pharmacy. So we need to move these down a little bit. Yeah. And that is pharmacy right there. Okay. I think there's one left, the doctor. Let's take care of the doctor, then we take it from there. And change that to doctor. Alright, let's run it and see, make sure it's saved. Come in here, run, enter the correct details this time around to save time. And there we go. Doctor. Yep. And let's see, patient, payment, pharmacy, appointment. Okay, but this exit is now working, so in the case of the exit we need to find a way to, maybe we should just copy the content we have inside exit. Yeah, let's come straight to the exit and copy that right here. Come right down, double click on that, copy all of this, and let's go to doctor. Come right here, double click on doctor, paste. appointment, double click on that, paste, pasting, double click and paste there, payment, double click and paste, then finally pharmacy, okay, double click and paste. All done. All of the exit is taken care of. Right. Okay, now that the exit is taken care of, let's come in here. You see all of these components, we need to give them all a name. So like this one has no number, so I'm going to call, has no name, I mean, I'm going to call that txt reference number, and I'll repeat the same for all because I intend to use it all for something, so that whatever data we enter in there is actually stored on a spreadsheet. So come in here, give this a name as well. Right, name of tablet, and this one will be txt dose. Yeah, so I'm going to speed that up and get back to you guys shortly. Okay, every single component here now has a name. So the next thing I like to do is, you see the very spreadsheet for login. I think I'm going to enter all the details in here. So if I come in here, enter the details for the doctor, and that's going to be on my spreadsheet 1. Let me show it to you. This is sheet number 1. So sheet number 2, I can use that for another, for the second form and so on. So let's create sheet number 2, but this is sheet 1. So whatever reference I make will be to sheet 1. So what I'm going to do now is, you see this very one, I'm going to add a button and just run it. Let's come in here, let's create a button here. So drag this down, and I'm going to copy one of these buttons, and this one I'm going to call it CMP add to sheet. Yeah, and this one is going to be add to sheet or add to workbook. Add to, let's see, oh, we can just, so I will move this one up. I'll just say to workbook. Okay, yeah, to workbook there, and rearrange the whole lot. This is going to be on top now. Right. Okay, if I have any other thing, I can just add it below. So that is it to workbook. You can. So now let's double click on to workbook. So because what we need is, because we need to be able to call the very first workbook, I'm going to declare a variable there. So I'll call that variable work as worksheet. Right. So let's declare another one. Dim add new as range. We're going to need the range as well. Then set work equals sheet 1. So the very sheet 1 that I'm referring to is the one I showed to you guys earlier, which is right here, this very one. That's the sheet 1 that I'm referring to now. Okay, so set adding equals worksheet dot, let's take it from the range. The range that I'm going to specify will be 65,000. Let's make that A from row A, 65,356. And just close that. Dot end, and let's ask it to go up. X up. Close that and make sure it's offset by 1,0. There we go. Now I'm going to add my very first component, so that's going to be, we'll say add new dot offset 0, 0. Okay, that's for the very first one. And dot value. So what is my value? I'm going to say, I think it's txt. Let's see what's the name of that. The value is txt doctor reference number. Okay, so double click on workbook, txt doctor reference number dot text. So that's the very first one. So what I'll do is just copy this around. I have 16 in total, and just change the numbers and the names. So this one is going to be 1, that's 2, and that is 3. So all I just need to do now is to get the names of each component. This is number 2, copy that. That's doctor's NHS number. Go right inside the code and change that. Then followed by the next one as first name. I think it's followed by surname. Good. Let's go in there again. And surname. I guess you guys get the whole idea. I'm now going to speed that up and get back to you. Okay guys, the first lot of the code that will store the value, whatever we entered in the system, is taken care of. So what I'm going to do now is, let's double click on that, run the program and see. Now there isn't much time, so I'm going to enter the right value instead of playing around. Then go to doctor, right in there, that's the doctor's. So let's enter some data in there. Doctor's reference number, DR, NHS doctor's number, and name. Who is the doctor? Let's say, yeah, why not, Paul Omen. Medical center, let's go for Carlton Vale, and address of the center 45 Flex Road, postcode, medical center reference name or reference number, telephone number, second telephone number, fax number, email address dr@gmail.com, patient NHS number, whatever number, GP reference, and patients whatever. There we go. So all we need to now do is just to add that straight onto the spreadsheet. So let's see if I come in here, add, that's it to workbook. There we go. So let me see my workbook here. That's the workbook. So first thing first, maybe I should exit so that I can get that workbook. So notice everything in here. So let's come in here. Okay, right here guys, you see those are the information on the workbook. Right, we'll have a good look at it. So let's add more information, and you guys see that. I think I may have left patient ID out. Alright, let's add more information. So back in here, doctor's reference, NHS reference, name, let's call that Tony PID. Right, add to workbook. So I can even add it more than how many times I like, but I have to exit first before we can view it. Yes, exit. So let's come into the spreadsheet itself. I think it's here somewhere. There we go. Look at that. You see, that's how you add all the information you collected straight onto your spreadsheet. Okay, let's repeat exactly the same thing for patient form, and in here I'm going to save that straight into spreadsheet workbook 2. So let's see what we've done so far. First of all, I'm going to have to exit from here. Exit, yeah, and let's see spreadsheets itself. Okay, let's collapse this so that you can see spreadsheet number 2. That's number 2 there, and right there, those are the information that I've just added on spreadsheet number 2. And just before I call it the end of this tutorial, let me show you guys one thing. All of the spreadsheet that I created, you don't really need it. You only need one spreadsheet so that you can store your information on one spreadsheet. All you need to do is just add more spreadsheets. Okay, so with that guys, I'm gonna call it the end of this very advanced tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed, so I'm gonna say you all have a nice day now, and bye for now. Bye.